Good morning. My name is Robyn Marie Boers for Art, and I'm a CNBC certified nonviolent communication trainer. And I'm making this video, this amazing, beautiful sunrise morning in Transylvania, in order to honor my great-grandmothers and in the spirit of Martine Prechtel, who writes about keeping the seeds alive of the worthy things in life. And I'm using that as a jump-off point to explain my social change situation here in Transylvania, Romania, where I live on a little homestead with my family and in a village. So I am asked fairly often how. So I'm here to explain how did this happen, because I get that as a question pretty often. Because I was born into a very different place, as if into a different time, and having grown up in the United States and received, actually, as far as educations go, quite a fine education there. Really, no complaints about that at all. And it's just that education took me into the world of, I was trained as a psychotherapist, transpersonal counseling psychology, and music therapy. And then I found myself working within a system that, I purposefully took a job within a mental health hospital within a prison, a women's prison in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I found myself taking these very, beautiful skills inside of a life alienating system, and I loved my work there. Don't get me wrong, I really loved it. And meanwhile, on the other side of the ocean, in Holland and France, the person who would become my life partner was studying veterinary medicine, because he loved large animals, horses and cows. And then, in much the same way, after a wonderful education, he found himself working in the meat and dairy industries. Well, neither of us found that beautiful. These places where we ended up, it was educational and just not where we wanted to be, and not where we wanted other people to be, or other animals or beings to be. The systems themselves just are, as NBC would say, life alienating. So when we met, and after some deep discussions, and also noticing this little side note about the fact that we were approached in both of these places, different as they were, a prison and the rural veterinary practice, we were approached by the same corporations selling their products. And when we looked deeper into this, and there's much more to this story, but I'll make it as short as I can. It brought us to the industrialized global food systems. And we just said, wait a minute, hold on. What's going on here? And in the spirit of nonviolence, we took a non-cooperative stance on that, and we said, well, let's go somewhere where we can be more responsible for our own food. So that is what we did. And I would like to take you on a little tour of where we jumped to here in Transylvania. And I will show you. This is the courtyard of our homestead, and yeah, having our own water source with that well. And now I will take you on a little tour. This is the porch and lots of tools that we need for our farming. We became peasant farmers. We decided to jump into a different lifestyle at the same moment that we were marrying each other. And we were able to buy this amazing house with a barn, with orchards, with doves, with room for gardens, chickens, summer kitchen to process all the food that we grow, trees, hundreds of fruit trees, including this pear tree in bloom, and this really amazing, glorious home built with all natural materials from here, built by hand from the people who owned it before we bought it. They were older, and their children, none of their children wanted to do any farming anymore. So they were selling, like so many of the older people here. Their children don't go into farming. So yeah, we came here just for our as a personal what was it, a test. It's personal, a test that became a project toward food sovereignty. And so we do grow all the food that we need. And that's after 14 years. And we still buy some food because we can, and it's easy. It's much easier in some ways. But we definitely are responsible for at least 80% of our food. We buy all used clothing and our shelter. You know, it is as you see it, and we do what we can to keep up the traditions of natural building. So I'm going to take you down into some of the other gardens, and this is the pathway, and we'll go down toward the greenhouse, and there's a little tulip by the tree. And so we came to this village. This is we're here not alone and implicated in social systems, and these social systems here in Transylvania, amazingly, given what's going on globally, still manage to support to a fairly large degree small farmers. So we're really appreciating that, and also working to uphold it with two organizations that we started. One is Provision Transylvania, which highlights those systems that are still in place, the small farming, and one is alpa.land, and that's to protect the biodiversity. This is I wanted to show you a pile of goat manure that we cleaned out, so that's on rotation with this garden, this food garden, and some small salads. And I'll take you into, yeah, just one other thing I wanted to say about that is that there is still common land around this village, which in the countries where Lars and I came from in the West, that was taken away quite a long time ago. And it's still here, barely hanging on, but still here. So I'm going to take you into the greenhouse and talk about some of the people who have been really influential in our thinking. And as I look at the plants and the places where we work with the seedlings, I'm going to name Vandana Shiva, and especially Vandana Shiva, and Helen and Norbert Hodge, and Satish Kumar, who are our luminaries in this respect. Vandana Shiva especially has illuminated our thinking on this quite a lot, and what she has, her research says that, small farmers are actually the ones who are feeding the world. So we're fed a narrative that it's only the industrial food system that can save us all, that can feed all these people. And apparently that's just not at all true. And I believe it, considering what I see as a fact, which is that the soils get degraded with that system after just a little while. And soil degradation has been linked with civilization collapse. So that's no small thing. And also, Vandana Shiva also highlights that peasant farmers all over the world are threatened by the industrial agricultural systems and food systems. So, given that, I and we, when Lars and I were getting married, we decided not only to marry each other, but to marry a different lifestyle. And it was for that reason that we came to Transylvania, because here people have been living in this way already for a long time. There were some interruptions, but they came back, a lot of them. And so a lot has been lost already. But we and others are working to keep the systems and the flame of that worthy way of life alive. Here in Romania, it's hard for people from Romania to make this choice because culturally it's still seen as a choice that people make when they can't do something else. So as people who could do something else, we stand for that. We stand for the value and the dignity of this way of life. And I want to say one more thing from Satish Kumar and his teachings, which is that he says that the words human, humus for soil, and humility are all from the same root word. And I can attest to my own anxiety as an individual becoming much lower the closer I am to the ground. And I would wish that for our cultures at large. If people came closer to the ground, and less sky oriented, I wonder what that would shift in terms of our fear and our anxiety. Thank you for listening.